All right. Hello, chain breakers. How are y'all doing? So, I'm sorry if I'm a little winded. I've been doing sprints today. If you haven't got up and got your exercise, get it in. Get it in. Physical fitness is just as important as mental and emotional and spiritual fitness. And it all goes hand in hand, okay? So get up, get off that couch, put the chips away. And I love chips, so I'll be talking to myself. But I just want to talk about when you begin to tell your story, it will make people uncomfortable, because people who are living a lie are always uncomfortable with those that tell the truth. All right, and they will try to make it seem as if you are walking in unforgiveness when you begin to tell your story. Because we have been so conditioned to be quiet. We have been so conditioned to sweep issues under the rug. So when you begin telling your story, it will seem as if you haven't forgiven the person. But I'm here to let you know, tell your story. I'm here to let you know that just because you tell your story does not mean that you are walking in unforgiveness. That is a trick of the enemy so that you be quiet. He wants people to be quiet. He wants people to feel, and he loves to send people your way to tell you and to play on your empathy. And they fake sympathy. If I share with someone about my experience, I don't need their fake pity. I don't need your fake sympathy. They're like, oh, you don't talk to your family, or, have you forgotten? And I've had people ask me, have I forgiven my ex because I talk about the situation? Yes, I've forgiven that man. I couldn't care any less about him than I do right now. Okay, so just because you talk about your experiences doesn't mean that you haven't forgiven the person. All right, it is your story to tell. And don't listen to people who try to tell you or try to act like you haven't forgiven someone just because you tell your story. Tell your story. It is yours to share. It is your story to share. All right, so people will try to come along. People will try to tell you or try to act like you haven't forgiven the person. You stand strong. And that's why I'm so adamant about you standing strong on your beliefs, because the enemy will send people to cast seeds of doubt. So you have to get real firm on where you stand and who you stand with and who you are, okay? So just because you tell your story does not mean that you haven't forgiven the person. Tell it in your time. God will tell you when it's your season, when you should tell your story. But somebody else's healing may be delayed because you're not telling your story, okay? When I told my story, it broke things in the atmosphere, all right? And had I been worrying about what the people in my past life were going to say, I wouldn't have told it in the manner that I did. And that's what's going on with a lot of you. A lot of you can't share your story because you're afraid that your parent is going to see it. You're afraid that your ex is going to see it. But I'm telling you, God is a protector. He will send his warring angels around you to protect you. All right, and to protect your name. And he will redeem your name when these same people have smeared your name. And the crazy part is, these same people have smeared your name, but you're worried about how your story is going to make them look. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Like I always say, if people wanted you to write and talk better about them, then they should have acted better, okay? So as long as you're not around here spreading lies and you're telling the truth, and you're telling the truth in a way that is honorable, you're telling the truth, let the chips fall where they may. Let God worry about that. You do what God has called you to do, but don't worry about people they're not even concerned about you. They're not even concerned about you. They're only concerned about their image. All right, so if God puts it on your heart to share your story, walk in obedience and let the chips fall where they may, and let them worry about the rest. They're not your concern. Healing is your concern. And that people have sat with years and years of trauma, okay? They have trauma in their bodies and they can't tell because they're worried about how it's going to make mom and daddy look. They're worried about how it's going to make their ex look. They're worried about how it's going to make their child's father or their friend, their ex-friend look. You have to be able to tell your story and tell it in a way that is healing and therapeutic for you, okay? Now, I don't mean go out there and just bash the person, you know, don't give them that energy, but, you know, because that does something to your spirit as well, all right? But learn to tell your story in a way that gives God all the glory, because that's really what it's all about. God getting the glory, people getting set free, people getting healed. All right, chain breaker, are you healing? Are you on your healing journey? Are you making decisions that are in line with your healing plan? All right. So if you haven't watched that video, go watch that video. It will bless you. All right, chain breakers. Until next time, don't forget to break those chains. All right, I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.